Hello and welcome to another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Connor Moreno, lead writer for UCLA Bruins on SI. And as you can see, I'm on a pretty new setup today. Finally upgraded, got myself a webcam that I've had, sitting in the closet for a while, and pulled out the Yeti microphone. So hope the audio is at good quality. I hope the picture is better than the laptop that I've been using. And let's get into the episode. So today we're going to go ahead and continue our transfer roundup series. Yesterday's episode obviously was highlighted by the Bruins landing Carter Good and Marcus Almada. And in the previous transfer episode, which was part 2, we went ahead and talked about Nico Davalier, Andre Jordan Jr., and Ben Perry. So today we're moving on to 3 more players, and those players are going to be Mikey Matthews, a slot receiver. It's going to be Roderick Pleasant, a speedy corner, and of course Madden Iamalava, who is Nico Iamalava's little brother. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm still trying to kind of adjust to where the level of the camera is. I'm kind of used to staring at the screen, which is what I'm looking at right now, rather than looking at the camera, looking at you guys. So I will be reading, so I'm going to be looking at the screen as well. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first transfer that we're looking at in this part 3 of this edition is going to be Mikey Matthews. He is a junior transfer wide receiver from California, from Cal. He's projected to be Nico Iamalava's number 1 target this season coming out of the slot. He finished last season with 32 receptions and 272 yards for 1 touchdown with the Golden Bears. And reports coming out of the spring practice were that Matthews is definitely going to be, one of those main targets for Iamalava next season. I would expect him to be number 1. I mean, you had a whole bunch of people from last season's receiving core leaving, so that leaves Matthews, and that leaves a few other people in that prime position to be that number 1 wide receiver. So let's go ahead and look at the evaluation that he was given from the Bruin Report Online staff on 24/7 Sports. UCLA has some obvious ties with Matthews, given he's from Southern California originally, and he played for Tulare last season. With UCLA losing Logan Loya and J. Michael Sturdivant to the portal, they are in need of some experienced pass catchers, and Matthews has played at both his previous stops of Utah and Cal with 60 career catches. We anticipate that Matthews will play in the slot, and given Rico Flores' injury, he likely projects as the starter there. We also anticipate that Matthews will immediately step in as UCLA's new punt returner in the absence of Loya, and he should be fine there. Probably pretty similar to Loya. So this is he's going to be a very important Bruin next season for UCLA, especially in that receiving core. You want this receiving group to have a stellar season, especially if they're going to be receiving passages from Nico Iamalava. So Matthews, I think, is at the forefront of what this Bruins receiving core is going to be looking like this season. Let's move on to the next one, who is Roderick Pleasant. He is a redshirt sophomore corner from Oregon. He might be slotted behind a few corners in the depth chart right now, but he comes with a catch. He is one of the fastest players, not just corners. He's one of the fastest players in all of college football right now. He was a track star at Oregon. I'm not too sure, but I'm assuming that he's going to be running track for UCLA as well. And he was a track star in high school as well as in Oregon. So he's bringing plenty dynamic speed to UCLA this coming season. Given that, let's go ahead and look at how the Bruin Report Online staff kind of evaluated the acquisition through the transfer portal, how he's going to help UCLA. I'll go ahead and read it right here. The talent acquisition in the secondary continues for Martin, Demetrius Martin that is. With the addition of Pleasant, UCLA has brought in 9 transfer defensive backs for 2025, and many of them former highly rated prospects. We love the theory of bringing in a lot of talented players, creating some competition, and then seeing who rises to the top. What's more, UCLA is also bringing back players who left LA for college, and then discovered that the grass wasn't necessarily greener even at Autzen Stadium. if UCLA can use those lessons to impart some wisdom to the local high schoolers who are looking at leaving the nest, the bounce back transfers of guys like Pleasant and Nico Iamalava could even pay dividends in high school recruiting. So what the Bruin Report Online staff is saying here is not only is he going to help on the field, but he might set an example and help off the field to high school recruits and projected California prospects that are kind of leaving the state as opposed to coming to UCLA. You've already seen in this 2026 class, we just talked about it the last episode and kind of a little bit at the beginning of this episode. UCLA's, I think, top 4 prospects now are all from out of California. You have Carter Gooden from Massachusetts. You have Johnny Jones Jr. and Micah Smith. They are from Florida. And then you have David Schwartzel, another 4-star defensive lineman. He's from Washington, and the Bruins actually beat out the Washington Huskies for that recruit. So what we're seeing right now is, especially in this new culture under Deshaun Foster. I talked to Marshawn Frollo. He is the senior director of recruiting for UCLA. I talked to him yesterday, on Thursday actually, that what they're doing is they're kind of adopting this coast-to-coast mindset so that way they can reach out beyond the Californians and bring in top prospects from around the country, and it's working out so far. As we just said, their top 4 prospects are from out of California. But how that relates to recruiting players inside of California, obviously they're going to keep on reaching at home, and they're hoping that, guys like Iamalava, who decided not to stay in California out of high school and ended up not liking it outside of the state and ended up coming back. They're hoping that Roderick Pleasant, Nico Iamalava, all those guys can provide some sort of wisdom to these high school recruits that, like they said, the grass isn't always greener. So with that being said, speaking of Iamalava, let's move on to our third prospect right here. Third in this part 3 of the transfer roundup, Madden Iamalava, who is a freshman transfer from high school / Arkansas. He was enrolled into Arkansas. He previously committed to UCLA and then flipped that commitment to Arkansas. He went to their spring practices, and once news broke that his older brother Nico was going to go to UCLA, he flipped his commitment back to UCLA. There were reports out of the Razorbacks spring practice that he was a surefire future starter, and I think he might have been a third-string quarterback in Arkansas for the Razorbacks, which is really, really good for a true freshman. He is a good addition for the future. He was also a reason that plenty of quarterback commits and plenty of returning quarterbacks actually transfer. Like Joey Aguilar, he went to Tennessee. He is the reason. He and Nico are a reason that a lot of those quarterbacks transferred out of UCLA. Obviously, you don't want to lose quarterback talent like that, but it's always good when you have current and future quarterback talent coming in, like Nico and like Madden. Not too sure how much Madden is going to play this season. I wouldn't doubt if he redshirts, just given the talent on the roster and at the position group with his older brother Nico, with Pierce Clarkson, Colton Gamino, all those players that are already on the depth chart for the quarterbacks. But with that being said, let's look at Greg Biggins. He's the national recruiting analyst. You guys have heard his name before plenty of times. He's national recruiting analyst for 24/7 Sports. Let's see what he had to say about Iamalava as a prospect. Iamalava has had a strong junior season. This is when I think he first committed back in 2024, or when he was first evaluated in 2024, something like that. But it was his junior year. Iamalava has had a strong junior season and showed he's deserving of all the attention and early scholarships he received this offseason. Iamalava didn't start a game until this year after backing up his older brother Nico Iamalava, who's a freshman at Tennessee. So yes, this was written last season. Like his older brother, Iamalava is a two-sport standout and a talented volleyball player, but his future is definitely at quarterback. He has always had a strong arm, but has made a nice jump in poise, accuracy, and maturity. He shows dual threat ability, and although he doesn't run a ton, he has very good pocket mobility and can extend plays. He's a tough kid, highly competitive, and as the game continues to slow down for him, he'll make another big jump. So, I mean, I think he was a 3-star out of high school. Not highly touted, but he's still a very quality recruit and a solid recruit coming into this UCLA locker room in Westwood. And those were, I think, I know it was part 3. I wasn't ranking these transfers. I wasn't doing a power ranking or anything. But I do think that these 3 transfers were very interesting. I think they are going to impact UCLA greatly. So, yeah, that was the part 3 of this transfer. As I said before in part 1, if we don't have any, overarching news for a day, then we're just going to go ahead and continue this series. UCLA brought in almost 30 transfers this past portal season, so we have a whole bunch of transfers to get into. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope this new setup did pretty well. I hope it comes out well. And yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. We'll see you tomorrow.